Hey, what's up, everybody? Another episode of My Comedy Buddies. Now I'm sitting here with my friend, Mr. Dennis Maley. Dennis, thanks for coming down to the festival.
Glad to.
I'm really, you're one of the comedians that I've met over the last year. It's only been about a year,
Right.
Probably.
Right.
But one of the comics that I've met in the last year that I'm really glad to know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I know that you haven't been doing comedy very long.
Right.
How long have you been doing it?
Time out.
Okay.
I want to tell you thanks.
Okay.
I think you gave me a nod because I'm opening for the headliner Saturday night.
Yep.
And I think that's something you did for me
Yes,
that's
sir.
nicer than you had to do. And I wanted to thank you. I hadn't taken an opportunity to do that yet.
But deserved. Well deserved.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. We were looking. Of course, I was looking. I'm like, all right, who are we going to put on the main shows?
Mm-hmm.
And to make sure everybody gets the same amount of time. This has been a hell of a deal and a learning experience putting this together. So then we were looking at the main shows. Like, all right, who's gonna fill in on these? And I was like, oh, for sure. Like, I've never seen you have what I would say is a bad set. I'm sure you've had some sets that you're like, well, that wasn't as good or great or whatever. But I've never seen you have a set where I was like, oh, that was rough.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure. And especially, okay, so now, how long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing comedy since October of 2022.
Okay, yeah, so just a short time.
Just a short time.
And in that amount of time, absolute killer.
Well, thanks, man.
For
I
real.
appreciate that.
For real.
You don't have to talk nice about me just because you're on video.
Well, when the next guy's over here, I'll tell him what I really
okay,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, for real. Absolute killer. Everybody loves you. I think because your material is unexpected, you catch
Yes.
people off guard.
Yes.
Which obviously misdirection and what's unexpected is a big part of comedy.
Right.
And you nail that. So I think that's why you do so well. That's the biggest. I mean, your material is great too, but the way that you do it is phenomenal, and it's just got to be natural to you because it's not something you learned in a year and a half.
Well, I stumbled into a brand
Yeah.
that works good for me,
Right.
and it was easy for me because I'm old. It's harder for you young guys. They're more, the higher point on the normal curve.
Right.
I'm out there on the edge, and so I don't have any competition. But yeah, people laugh at my character. They laugh at me
Yeah.
maybe more than they laugh at the jokes.
And if you're okay with it being that kind of comedy, then it works.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
How did you come to start doing comedy so late?
My wife died, and I didn't want to sit around the house mildew,
Okay.
and just figured out something that it really wasn't on my bucket list to do, but something I thought I could do to get the hell out of the house. I didn't want to hang out in beer joints. Of course, now I hang out in beer joints. So it's not the perfect deal. But
Yeah. No, but were you some kind of performer before? Like I know you told me that you played banjo and stuff. I didn't know if you performed before.
I always had an itch to perform. I was a tax accountant in my day job, but I wanted to write books or sing or play in a band or something like that. I always had some creative-y kind of thing that I wanted to do to pull the plug on the crap I did during the day.
Right.
So
I think everybody's journey to comedy is different.
Yep.
Like how we wound up here.
Yep.
Mine was always a big fan of comedy, and then I just had this one person that kept going, you should do that, and I never thought about doing it until I had this one person that just kept needling me to do it, and then I did it, and it was hooked. But I had seen a comic before, Rodney Carrington.
Yes.
I saw him, and I was like, I can do that.
yeah.
I would watch George Carlin. I was a huge George Carlin fan. I can't do what he does.
Right.
So it would never cross my mind to try that.
Right.
Big Richard Pryor fan.
Right.
Obviously, I can't do what he
Right.
does. But then I saw Rodney Carrington, and I was like, oh, I can do what he's doing. He's just telling funny stories about his life.
Right.
I can do that. Which I feel is the less intelligent version. Yeah, I felt like George Carlin was a genius.
Oh yeah.
You know, all the different aspects that he looked at and the angles that he came at it from. I was like, wow, that guy's super intelligent. I'm definitely not that guy.
Well, if you told a George Carlin joke, it'd probably fall on the stage like a 3-pound turd in a 1-pound sack. But you got to tell the stuff
Right.
that's consistent, that's in your lane.
Yeah. Yeah. Aspirations wise, what do you see comedy doing?
I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I want any career doing it.
Really?
The idea of traveling and staying in motels and that life, it's not for me. That's not what I want.
I think, I mean, if it's not what you want, then it's not what you want. But I think that there's ways that you could do it to a certain degree where it's not a job, it's just enjoyable for you. You're in a position where you can travel some.
True.
You play golf.
True.
Only take shows where there's a golf course you want to play. It's worth it to go and stay in a hotel then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play golf at this course that I wanted to play, and I'll go do this show. I'll make a few bucks, you know.
Well, I like playing golf, but I really like hanging out with the Red Hat Society a lot more.
Yeah.
So if a community has a strong Red Hat club, you know,
okay,
maybe I'll consider that.
Yes, I'll go. Yeah. I think probably one of the reasons that you're one of my favorite people, because you're also one of my favorite people to hear talk about comedy. But I think it's because you're a matured fellow, which is a nice way of saying older.
Older fellow.
Yeah. But you're looking at things from a perspective not just as a comic. So you look at things from like last night there was a conversation going about branding and people talking about changing their names and stage names, and I was really looking at it from one angle, and then the way that you put it to me as far as maybe not changing the name but being known for a bit, like I hadn't even thought about that from that angle. So that's probably that's one of the main reasons that I enjoy visiting with you, is because your perspective on comedy is not just of a comedian, which I think everybody should do with a lot of different topics. Like, stop looking at it from just your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
What's everybody else think? So I enjoy you as a person and as a comedian.
Well, you've been way too kind.
Well, this is not something I would say to you if we were just sitting over there amongst a bunch of people
I noticed
having a conversation.
that. I noticed the shit you've been saying about me.
Yeah. As soon as I turned the camera off, I'm like, all right, get the fuck out. No, but I do, and I enjoy your comedy. I enjoy your company.
Thanks.
Great guy. You're definitely also one of the people that I'm like, hey, I didn't know Dennis was going to be here tonight. Sit down and shut up when he goes up. You're going to want to hear him. So I definitely. I want everybody to hear your jokes.
Well, I work a different lane than most of the guys. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works phenomenally. And like I said, that's why I didn't know if like you had if you had done performing of some other sort, because this seems to just be really natural for you, and it not being normal to what everybody else is doing.
Well, I mean, I was a class clown when I was a kid, weren't you?
I was. And I just watched it the other day. They said most of the time the guy that's a class clown in school is not the comedian. But, so apparently they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about.
Well, I didn't finish school either. No.
I barely did. I scraped by. I was not a good student. I was not a good student.
I wasn't that bad.
You weren't that bad?
No, I was an okay student. But
were you?
Yeah, I mean, it's harder to get on the B honor roll than it is the AB honor roll. Do you ever think about it? I was always on the B honor roll.
Yeah.
I didn't get any A's. But hell, if you can get a B without studying, now that's talent.
Yeah. Yeah. There
Anybody
you go.
can get an A if they studied. Screw that.
I talk about my kids all the time. My daughter, she was a stud athlete. So she had to make good grades so that she could play.
Right.
My youngest son he's a B kid without effort.
Right.
He just does it. My middle son was me. He just scraped by. He's like, how many points do I have to make on this to get through it. So he just barely scraped by. He barely graduated. But I tell people all the time, of my 3 kids, he's the most intelligent.
He's the one that's going to be a medical doctor,
Yeah.
rocket scientist.
Yeah. I'm like, he's the most intelligent. He just didn't apply it in school. He did a great, but anyway. All right. So tell people where they can find you. I don't know, how big are you social media? And
I'm not large on social media at all. I just Facebook.
yeah.
And it's Dennis Maley. You might be able to find me like on YouTube. I've posted some videos tagged Granny Freak.
Granny Freak.
But no Instagram, no TikTok, no none of the other stuff because I just don't give a damn about it.
You would kill it on TikTok. You really would.
Well, if there was any money in it, maybe I'd look at it.
Once you get there, you can make money. Seriously. I mean, there's people that are millionaires just off of being TikTok famous. And they're dumb.
Maybe I'll have to look at it. I like money.
I definitely think that that's something that we should work on. Let's see what it would take to make it happen and see if it's something you'd be interested in fucking with.
No, okay, I'll do it. I promise.
Well, Dennis, thank you very much for coming to the festival. It's
great
great
to
for you
be
to be
here.
here. Appreciate you, man.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys, thanks.